Kris, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, John?
I'm doing all right.
Good.
We are, oh my goodness, it's Wednesday, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We're 3 days away from the first Easter service for this year.
Yes.
We do three at our church. We do one on Saturday night and then two on Sunday morning.
Yep.
Anyway, it's we're just in the middle of it.
Yes.
Every project that you had that was like, yeah, just whenever, is now like, get it done before Easter.
Pretty much.
Also, speaking of, let's start with, hey, what are we drinking?
We have a new one tonight from True Vine.
Okay.
Sanctimonium. This is a Belgian triple, I believe.
We haven't, so you say new one. You and I have both had this.
Well, yes, but new for the show.
New for the show.
New for the show, new for the listeners to hear about.
Delicious.
It is good. It's 10%. Pretty confident it was a triple.
Yeah. And it's in a growler, so
it is, yes.
Feeling
second growler.
Pretty good about our 64 ounces here.
Let's see.
Good to know. I think our mugs here probably hold 44. So
okay, I stand corrected. This is a Belgian quad.
Oh, it's a quad, not a triple.
Not a triple or triple as the way it's spelled.
No, I'm not saying that.
So yeah, it is a triple.
It's a quad.
Sorry, quad. I'm looking at too many things on the screen at one time.
Yeah.
So let's crack this bad boy open.
Yeah. Way to go, True Vine. Oh.
Wow.
You need me to undo it for you? What just happened?
It didn't open because there's tape.
There's tape on it?
So it's not
okay. Yeah, you can't. You're not supposed to.
Okay, you're
supposed to take it home.
Yes.
If you had opened that with the tape on it, just saying.
I'm He-Man. Come on, tape.
I see it. You're working on it. It's almost there.
Getting there.
You're doing great.
Okay.
That's some really skinny tape. That's weird.
Yeah, it is. And okay, now I think legally this would qualify as an open container because the tape is gone.
Which is frustrating because, in Louisiana, all it takes is the straw being...
Not having the paper on top?
The paper on the straw counts.
All right, let's try again.
Oh.
That was much easier.
Yeah, so there's kind of a double standard there. I'm just saying.
Would you like the first pour?
Oh, sure. I am honored. Don't.
Oh. It's a good glug.
Oh man,
glug,
that's
glug,
not
glug,
even.
Glug, glug, glug.
I'm looking at the level in the growler there, and it didn't really make a dent. I'm telling you, it just smells so good. Please go over the top.
No. I got it.
You did great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the quad in case this quad, I'll put it that way. I don't really know that much about quads. But this is a very brown ale.
Yes.
So expecting the nuttiness. What does it say?
There's no blurb.
There's no blurb?
There's no blurb on their site for any of their beer.
Okay, no, we got to figure that out because they do have blurbs.
I mean, I'm sure I could find it on another site real quick.
No, I don't think you can. I think we looked last time, didn't we?
Well, we're going to find out.
Okay.
Also helps if you can spell. Untapped.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no blurb, but it does say in a faraway land.
Oh, no.
Our brewing forefathers created an ale so bold with such strength. Oh, I got to click to show more.
With such strength that
it was banished from the land, never to return. We have brought this legendary beer back to life with a heavy malty base and tasting notes of fig, cherry, and a touch of warmth. The Belgian quad you hold, well, now now I'm holding it. It's for those who seek something bigger in both their beverage and in life. Cheers.
Well, there you go.
Well, there you go. Thank you, Untapped.
That's just weird. Yeah, I don't think that I tasted the cherry last time, but let's see.
No.
Ready?
Yep.
Cheers. Here we go.
Cheers.
No, I do taste the cherry.
A little bit.
Yeah, no, I mean now that I'm saying it, or now that they said it, I taste it for sure. Kind of on the sides of the tongue. Yeah, it's a little more tart than I remember it being.
A little bit.
Maybe that's just because of the cherry thing, but
I had this probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago, and it felt like it was a different tasting beer then versus now.
I've had that a few times, but I think that's kind of the nature of these small batch.
Yes. Artisanal small batch.
Artisanal small batch.
It's not bad, though.
No, it's great.
Not bad.
So the tag says 4/16/25. That's when they poured it into this growler. That's what
Yes.
that means. Okay.
Yes.
Because yeah.
Don't know when it was put in the keg to be ready for drinking.
But
I do know they're running low.
not too long ago. Really?
Yeah, running low on Sanctimonium, and they're running low on Giant Slayer.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
Giant Slayer is really good. Oh, no. We're going to take this podcast and relocate for a little bit.
Oh,
No.
that would be interesting.
That would be so good. We should do
to figure out a way to do
live.
it, to do a show there.
Well, it would have to be one of the live shows. So we need to figure out
Absolutely.
live, and then we go
Yes,
and do it.
and then we can. It'll be a all beer show
Oh,
because you got to taste the different
yeah.
varieties.
No, absolutely.
We work them in. It's a marketing gimmick for them.
Yeah.
It's a good show for us.
Yeah. Welcome to the brainstorm, people.
Yeah.
This is great.
Now there's just a lot of pieces to figure out.
Yeah, no big deal.
I wish it was just as simple as clicking go live.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Well, it could be done, but it's up to your hosting company to pull that off.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not there yet.
Not quite. Okay. So what I was saying, well, no. Well, let's talk about the beer a little more because I don't think we gave it its full. What else? It said cherry. There was something else other than warmth because, yeah,
Warmth.
obviously the warmth, but that
Let's
has
see.
more to do with, where it hits you in the gut
Okay.
and the fact that I haven't had dinner yet.
Oh, true. I'm there with you.
Mm.
Malty base and tasting notes of fig, cherry, and a touch of warmth.
So fig, I don't really know what fig tastes like. Do you?
I've had fig Newton. I don't think it's the same thing.
Okay. Yeah. So a sugary fig.
That's as close as it gets.
Maybe that's what they were talking about.
You're the one who's been to Israel. You didn't try fig?
No,
Oh, come on, man.
I didn't eat olives either.
Oh, how could you go and not have olives?
Well, mostly I ate deviled eggs, hummus,
Ooh.
and fish.
Yeah.
There was some chicken. I remember every time that I've gone to Israel, what I crave the most, I mean, bacon, obviously, but is like a cheeseburger
Ooh.
because they don't do cheese on anything
Correct.
because that would be against the law.
Non-kosher.
That's not kosher. So no cheese on the burger. They will make you a burger. It's not bad. I mean, it's not great, but it's not bad. But you can't put cheese on it.
Can I get cheese on the side?
You definitely can't get a bacon cheeseburger.
No. You keep referencing bacon and Israel, and you were making me think of Trump the other day.
What do you do?
He was announcing Huckabee as his new ambassador to Israel, and he was just off the cuff, just trying to be silly. Like, he's really going to bring home the bacon for us. And then there's this pause, and he goes, although I guess bacon's not really their thing in Israel.
Wow. Okay.
So,
wow. Just wow. Anyway,
I
I
like this.
Yeah. No, it's great. I mean,
It's not bitter.
no,
It is a little tart.
a little tart. So this is like when my wife gets all excited about a summer shandy,
Okay.
I'm like, no, it's a little too like, I don't like lemonade in my beer. Thank you very much.
True.
But this kind of reminds me of that. Like this would be a great hangout, maybe after mowing the yard, get it really cold. It's not super cold right now.
Well,
And maybe that's why we can taste the cherry so well.
if we have any left over, I'll be mowing on Saturday. I'll let you know how it is after mowing.
There you go. I feel like it would be a great post-mow beer.
All right.
Okay, so what I was saying is that we also have, we do something called an Easter bash. We call it an Easter bash. Most people call it an egg hunt.
Extravaganza.
So we do that on the Saturday before
Yep.
Palm Sunday. So it's not even during the Holy Week. It's just the Saturday before. So partially that's because we're just trying to get out of everybody else's way. There's so many Tyler has a lot of churches with a lot of extra programming
Yes.
from those churches during Easter. So it's just a good idea for everybody to let everybody go to everything and not try to compete with different stuff. But all of that to say that I was running the sound system for our Easter bash, and I had to get on and give a few announcements. And I had a few people tell me that my radio voice was funny. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't have
like,
a radio voice.
I have a face for radio. I don't have a voice for radio.
Yes.
But what they meant was that I talk different when I'm on the microphone. And I was like, I wonder if that was the case whenever I was like, I wonder if it's the case right now. I don't think I talk different when we're just podcasting, because I feel like I'm
just a conversation.
very much just talking to you.
Yeah.
But evidently when I'm on a microphone on a loudspeaker, so this made me think, like when I was a worship leader, did I do it like this? Did I have a different voice from when I led worship? But especially if I'm doing announcements, I talk very differently. And I was like, I cannot get anybody to explain that to me, but
Well, when you were leading worship, but I think it is just a part of it is, a little more amped up, just because you're like, hey, everybody, glad you're here.
Yeah.
That piece definitely came out.
Smile.
Yes. But I didn't see it as like, oh, that's not John. What's he doing?
Yeah. And maybe that's the case here too, is there's a lot of people, since I'm not leading worship anymore, see me in my frowny face more often.
Yes.
My what do my kids call it? The Eeyore.
Eeyore, yes. You're just leaning into your realism. That's all.
Just leaning into the realism. Not as much with the eyebrows up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was funny to me because I was like, oh, I mean, I've been doing this job for a little bit, which is, I've done parts of that for a long time, and nobody's ever mentioned that before. But I think we have more people now that weren't here whenever I led worship, so they didn't hear me talk more often from stage. But it is interesting to know about yourself, that you have a different voice that you don't really realize that you're using.
Okay. Didn't happen to record it, did you?
No. I mean,
we could have had a clip for the show.
Wouldn't have been good. That's all I'm saying. There were definitely a lot of times I was in the middle of talking about, what we were doing for Easter egg hunts, or how you needed to try to limit your children to 7. I was like, are you kidding me? You want me to make what announcement? Children only pick up 7 Easter eggs.
Got it.
Like, nobody pay attention to me for the next 30 seconds. I'm going to say something that I'm required to say.
Yes.
It was funny. I told another one of our staff, who will remain nameless, about that, like that I had been asked to make that announcement. And he goes, I think they have participation trophies at the church across the street. I was like, that's right.
Yes.
Here at South Spring, if you don't get your rear end out there and get some eggs, that's your own fault.
Yep, that's on you.
Anyway, it was really funny.
So did they at least tell you this afterwards? So you're not sitting there in the middle of this and going, what am I doing with my voice?
No, it was in the middle.
Oh.
No, I mean, they're going to tell me when they...
At least tell you after.
Yeah, one of them, like, so I'm in the middle of the sound system and we're pushing across acres.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's loud. And when you're right behind the speakers, it's really loud. So
Yeah.
I've got them pointed in 3 different directions. I'm trying to cover as much ground as possible. And so when people come and talk to me, they are literally, getting right next to my ear and then screaming.
Screaming, yes.
So one of them told me like that, which I thought was hilarious. Like, you were screaming this at me. I mean, it's fine because it's the only way we're going to be heard. But anyway.
What's your radio voice?
That's funny. Watch your screaming voice.
Ask my children.
Right. That's funny. But, it definitely reminded me of what we're talking about today with doing podcasts and stuff. A lot of what's been interesting about trying to set up podcasts and get ready to go with podcasts is being aware of how it sounds.
Yep.
The fact that it just clipped off the front of how for me there because I was not leaning into the how, not giving it enough decibels to cut off or to start the
gate.
But different things like that. And then realizing like you talk a certain way and you need to make sure not talk too fast and you need to make sure that there's not too much dead space and
enunciate
and all of the, like there's to the artwork and us trying to even get social media stuff worked out. Like there's a lot of things to pay attention to other than the thing that we wanted to do, which was sit down and drink a beer and talk about gear that's coming out or is exciting or is that we're thinking about using for one project or another.
Yep.
Anyway, that's what it reminded me of.
Yep. Tonight's kind of the meta show. We're doing a podcast about doing a podcast.
About doing a podcast.
That could be a show title.
The meta podcast or the
meta show.
Meta show.
Meta world peace.
Oh man. I saw an interview. Never mind. We're not doing that right now. That guy, although I do think he got a bad rap for a few different things that happened in his career. Somebody throws a beer at you, you are going to, like, if I throw a beer at somebody, I'm starting a fight.
Yeah.
I'm either in a fight or I'm starting a fight. At no point would I ever throw a beer at somebody and then not expect that person to respond to me.
Yep.
So the idea that, he went into the stands and that's totally inappropriate. I'm like, not if somebody throws a beer at you.
Yeah, that's a different level.
Don't be dumb. They may look small on TV, but all those NBA players are big boys.
They're huge.
Yeah. Anyway.
Unless they're Muggsy Bogues.
He was a personal hero of mine as a short man.
Yeah.
Short kings, as they call them now. Weird. Anyway. But yeah, the meta show, the show about the show.
Yes.
And making a show and trying to walk the line of, is this fun because we are doing what we want to do, or are we?
I think as long as we're having fun.
Yeah.
Who cares how many downloads you get?
That's true.
I would love, we'll get into this a little later. I'd love to know what causes the ebb and flow.
Yeah.
One show will do great and the next show is just like crickets.
Flat.
And it's like, did you just not like us?
Yeah.
Are we just randomly showing up on somebody's front page and you get some extra downloads?
Yeah.
Or what?
did we upload it at the wrong time? Are we, I mean, there's all kinds of things. I mean, it was actually funny. When you said that this is what we were going to talk about, one of the things that I thought about was there for a while, it was a really popular thing for YouTube personalities to make shows about how they, like, you know, what the secret sauce is of being, you know, getting 1 million downloads or whatever the thing is. Like, it was funny to me because it was almost like they got an inside track from YouTube about, hey, we want y'all to make videos about this for a little bit.
Yep.
And then everybody made one. And then they would all make videos about how you need to make sure and make videos for yourself and videos for everybody else. Like, you know, you make one for yourself and then you would make one for
the rest of the world. And I was like, wow, that sounds terrible. Like, I get it if you really are like, this is your job, but that can't be why you get into this. No, and you talk about that, and Michelle just started watching, I'm not going to know the name of the documentary, but it's on Netflix, about a kid named Piper and everything that was happening with her mother's influence and what they were doing and crossing the line and kind of creating this
is this
YouTube media monster?
Yeah. Yeah. Is this like the, I mean, you know, they've done different documentaries about like Jojo Siwa and different stuff like that. But so this is a girl named Piper.
Yeah. The young girl's name is Piper. And then they had a bunch of kids. I think the group was called The Squad.
Nice.
I'm not going to know the name
of course not,
of the show. Try not to watch that stuff.
We like what we're doing here, but we're not trying to like consume it all the time.
No.
That's just a terrible place to be.
Yes. That and all of the murder shows that she watches.
Okay. Like the murder podcast, like the murder mystery podcast.
Well, not podcast.
I know
TV.
I'm talking about like and then the TV stuff. I told Lori, like, we've got too much going on in our lives. We don't need to borrow somebody else's bad emotions. Like,
yes.
Don't get traumatic.
Yes.
Like,
well, I joke that Michelle is actually studying for when she's ready to off me. She'll know all the ways to do it right and not get caught.
Did you ever hear that Jim Gaffigan bit about how he watches Dateline? And he was talking about how he's super romantic, but you know his wife doesn't mind. Like she's fine that he's watching Dateline. I mean, she's not thrilled that he's watching it on their anniversary and taking notes.
Yikes!
I mean, this guy's just sloppy. It's like he wants to get caught. Anyway, it was hilarious.
Oh, now I understand why I can't find that picture you sent me.
Really?
HEIC.
Oh.
My computer doesn't like it.
Yeah, no, it's, sorry. Non-Apple guy.
You iPhone people.
I didn't mean to.
A bunch of elitists.
I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
You got to do it our way.
Yeah, I didn't mean to.
Thanks, Steve. You've been gone for how many years and it's still there, man.
Oh no, for sure. Like they're pretty excited about that.
Oh yeah.
Not being.
Hey, even better. Instagram says, even though I got it to work now.
Yeah.
Hey, we don't support that file.
Cool.
So I'll post it later.
I mean, I can probably. It's fine.
I was just trying to get something out there while the show was
like
going.
It's perfect. That's what we're supposed to be doing, right?
Yeah. Probably should actually do it pre-show as an alert to people to know
this is happening.
Show starting.
Well,
start setting the expectations for people when we go live.
There you go. They know, like, this is about when it's going to happen. Are they going live right now? Are they going live right now? Now?
Get your 2.0 app and you'll know.
Now?
Yeah.
Now.
Oh, no, we just missed it. Now was just then.
No, now it's... Oh my gosh. I need to watch Spaceballs again.
That's a classic.
It is a classic. I don't think my kids are quite ready for it, but it's getting close.
Yeah, that one is more tame.
It is
than some of the others, but
Mel Brooks in that one is a little older.
He's mellowing a bit,
yeah, but still.
Yes,
I see your Schwartz is as big as mine.
No, it's bigger. Your Schwartz is bigger than mine.
I thought it was this. Yeah, anyway. All right, now we got to look it up. Anyway. So like did you have like a plan for what all we were going to talk about, or are we just bringing stuff up?
I think just mostly off the cuff, but wanted to hit like what it has been trying to get the show going, what it's the challenges of maintaining.
Yeah.
Because, life doesn't stop just because you want to do a podcast.
No.
Trying to be consistent, at least on release.
Yeah.
Because I think that's important. People get used to that schedule.
Yeah.
And when you veer off the schedule, they might get a little cranky.
Yeah.
Where right now, everybody kind of knows that every other Tuesday,
that's when this comes out.
You're getting a show unless life gets too crazy.
Yeah.
So it's about, maintaining that schedule. And then just kind of, we're trying to help figure out this whole, how do you get yourself out there, more exposure? Like we talked about before, kind of that ebb and flow. Why does one show explode and the very next show is in the tank?
Like what just happened?
Yeah. And just kind of the, just in everything that we can kind of come up with in between. But just really just kind of talking about, you don't get into podcasting and get rich. You don't get into podcasting to make money. You do it for fun.
Yeah.
And then if the money comes later, that's just a bonus.
Yeah. So, I mean, starting at the beginning.
Yep.
What is the thing that like you want to talk about? Or what is what's the idea? Is there information that you want to like put out there? Is there?
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's a little bit, kind of pulling the curtain back a little bit. It's like when I listen to a podcast.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of sitting there kind of going, well, I wonder how they do it. What is their setup? How do they configure this? How do they do that? Why does they not have this particular artifact in their audio that I have?
Yeah.
We'd been talking about doing this for quite a long time.
Yeah.
And it was me just kind of like, we'll get there. And then finally we came up with one and was like, oh, that's it. We got to go.
Yeah.
And so it's just been trying to learn, because I mean, you've obviously done a few with the church, and now we've got this one. So for me, this has been kind of a multifaceted journey of what does it look like to do a podcast, and to try to do one well. I'm not a audio engineer, so you're not going to get the best sound ever, but it's going to be good enough to want you'll want to listen.
Yeah. And
it not be, because to me, I realize that if you can't get the audio right, it doesn't matter what your content is.
Yeah. And that's the case for audio content as well as video content.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you can live through watching, but you can't live through listening to. That's really annoying.
If the audio is grating, you're just going to skip it or turn it off.
Exactly.
So, for me, it's been a learning curve on how to do the audio, because we do a lot of post-production, if you will.
Yeah.
We're not to the point to where it's record live to tape and then you literally just put a intro and outro on the end and maybe a little kicker and off it goes and it's ready. We record typically on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and then I'm at home with Reaper going, okay, what if I do this? Right. Oh, I didn't like that. Okay, what if I do this?
I don't like that.
Oh, that's okay, but okay, so what if I give it a little bit more? And it's like, oh, that just got really bad really fast. What happened?
Don't do that.
So yeah, for me, it's really been it's about learning how to do it, becoming comfortable with doing this. In the beginning, for me, I was nervous as all get out. There was nobody else in the room. It's just you and me.
And that was nerve-wracking.
But just the idea of people are going to download this. They're going to listen to this. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's not like being in front of people, kind of nervous, but it's still that nervous of like, oh, yeah, this isn't just you and me talking and nobody hears this ever. And it just goes off into the ether and that's it.
Right.
So there was kind of working through that and trying to feel comfortable. And, you know, as I've heard people say, finding your podcast voice, which I guess is like having your radio voice.
Yeah, exactly.
WNBC. Trying to find that type of thing. But learning, learning from you and some of the audio, hitting up Jason for some of the audio. He's still after me on my tone, talking about, I just need to EQ your mic. And it's, well, tell me.
Yeah.
Help me.
I understand you want to EQ my mic. Why don't you tell me how I can EQ my mic?
Correct. And then we also have the added challenge of sometimes we're here and we don't want to mess with this because it's not our gear, not our setup. Whereas when we're at home, we can do whatever in the world we want. Yeah. We can tweak it, fine tune it. And then once you find what you want, that's great.
Yeah.
But you can't necessarily take that with you to another place unless everything is going to be Rodecaster based.
Yeah.
And then you grab your show file and you bring your show file and you load it.
Right.
And then when you're done, you put back the other show's file.
Yeah. Or all of your gear is so portable and so a lot like the pod mic.
Yeah, and that could be. It could be that maybe when we come here, it's
just lay out the pod mic and
show up with the pod mic, plug it in. Here's yours EQ. Here's my EQ. Go.
Ready to go.
It's pumping right into the computer, recording it into Audacity or whatever it may be.
Yeah, it was interesting to me to hear you talk about even the beginning of this, because my mindset is always in the like, well, what are we trying to accomplish here? And what was really fun about this one was I am trying to accomplish talking to my friend about stuff that interests me and drinking beer, and that's perfect because that makes it easy to whatever. But you and I are both also like we're problem solvers by trade and by personality, probably more so.
Yeah.
So like even the idea of approaching a podcast as like, oh, how listening to another podcast and being like, how are they doing that? Like what exactly is involved with that? Unless like, man, I want to be famous. Like, no, I don't want to be famous. I'm not trying to be famous. I'm trying like, I want to know what is that? What does it take to do that? And so, then you look at the gear because gear is sexy. I don't care what Stephen Myers says. Yeah. Gear is sexy.
Oh yeah.
It's so cool. Like, oh my goodness.
And it leads to gas.
It does.
Gear acquisition syndrome.
Yeah. Every time. I knew gas first as guitar acquisition syndrome, but yes,
it works.
I knew it personally as gear acquisition syndrome, because I just didn't know what to call it because all the time it's like, ooh, that toy looks fun.
Yep.
Or, ooh, that could solve a lot of problems. I mean, how many times did we want a new pocket knife? And you're like, I don't really like, I'm not doing a lot of whittling over here.
Yeah.
I'm not even opening a lot of boxes right now, but man, that new pocket knife has a spring in it. That's the coolest thing ever.
Click.
Yeah. But stuff like that, it just kind of piques your interest. And then you're like, what can you do with that? Why would that be ooh, that does this. And then that, okay. So then you need one of those because once you get the, voice out of your mouth, then you've got to be able to capture that, like okay, so I need a microphone. But then like, is there a better XLR? Or is it like they're all the same? And then, okay. So, I can just I'm pretty cheap here. So I'm just going to get a stand that sits on the table. But all the guys that do this professionally have these arms.
Yes, they do.
Stick over the top of it. So like it just keeps going down the line of this thing and that thing. And my wife's like so patient with me, but it's so hard for me to not like when I start something new to not like go
all
all in.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I'm not going to buy the cheap stuff because the cheap stuff is like, I'm just going to have to repurchase that. And then I'm whatever. And when we registered for our wedding or whatever, she was like, what's the cheapest can opener we can find? And I was like, no. And so finally, like, the story was, we're in Bed Bath & Beyond, and she makes me put down the can opener that's the right can opener in my mind. It's not the most expensive one, but like, this is a quality one. This is not what whatever. It's a can opener. I mean, we're not talking about like hundreds of dollars here.
Correct.
But it's a can opener. It's a nice can opener. And she makes me put it back, and she hands me like the little crap, like just junky can opener. And so with my fiance there right next to me, I take the little scanner and I scan the crappy can opener, and I said, we'll be buying another one of you later.
Yes.
Don't buy the crap.
No, I heard it put well the other day that if you're going to be using something every day or almost every day, you should really buy something good.
Yeah.
Don't buy trash.
And I really don't like buying trash for anything that I get, because I don't like, and it's, to me, the funny part, I know this is explaining my white middle classness to everybody, and I'm so sorry. But like the idea that, like, even if it's something that I don't use very often, I don't want to come to something that I like, a tool that I don't use very often, but I need it to do something, and I go up to it and it's broken or it's not working because I didn't buy the right one. And it's that, like, I just need it to be reliable. I just need it to do what it's supposed to do.
Yep.
This is annoying.
Yep.
And you get into that mentality with podcast gear, and all of a sudden, like, number one, it is super fun. Oh, wow. That was very
sibilance.
sharp. It is super fun to look at all of the solutions that are out there and find, like, all of the different, like, even the fact that PodMic has been out there for a while, but I didn't know anything about it. And you bring one and it's like, wow, this thing is awesome. Like you research this enough and you find these little niche products or these things that were built for this specific purpose.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's amazing. I want that.
Oh yeah.
But we're also not realists. What's the, you would say realist for sure. The
pessimist,
practicalist.
Practicalist.
Practical.
Okay.
No, that's not the word. But practical. We're both practical.
Yep.
And so you want to find something that's useful for a bunch of different things.
Yep.
So one of my first like microphone searches was trying to find if there was a podcast mic that was a good reference mic. Because I'm like, well, if I'm going to buy a microphone that does everything that I need it to do, and then you are like, no, I don't. This is not one for one. Like, I want the reference mic to be as flat as possible, and I want the podcast mic to not make me sound like I only have sound coming out of my nose. Because that's real.
Yep. Yeah, I guess what I've kind of learned is, you want to kind of put this in terms that maybe some people will understand. Everybody wants the Milwaukee or the DeWalt.
Yeah.
And if you have the money,
great.
You're never going to complain. But it is okay to buy the Ryobi. You're not buying...
I thought you were going to say Porter Cable.
No. Ryobi is maybe not the best, but it gets the job done. It gets the job done well.
Right. What's the Harbor Freight?
Yes, that's what you got to stay away from. maybe some hand tools.
Okay.
But if it's a power tool...
Don't touch it.
Don't touch it. So like you're looking at a microphone, don't buy the $30 microphone off of Amazon because it has lights and looks fancy.
I mean, especially if it's got lights, don't buy it.
You're going to regret it.
Yeah. That's a mistake.
Kind of hit that upper level. So, most of the microphones that I have, on the higher end, I think the RE27 was $450, and that's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can go $1,000, and however high up you want to go.
Right.
So that's kind of the peak for me, but most of mine that I've bought, because I can't have just one, it's like Lay's.
Yeah.
You can't have just one.
No.
Or anywhere from $250 to $350.
Right.
And again, that's kind of that Ryobi middle of the road.
That's
it's going to work well.
Yeah, that's what you should be expecting.
Correct. And then it's also nice that when you start digging into, well, what is this particular person using? And then you start finding out, oh, they have some of the same gear that I do.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, I'm on the right track.
Yeah.
Hardware wise, and it makes a difference. So make sure you buy something good.
Right.
Because you can't fix a bad mic.
The source has to be right.
Yep. And then once you've got the mic figured out, then you've got to get the right mixer, whatever you're going to use.
Yeah.
Preamps are a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want it to make you sound washed out? Do you want it to super color your audio? What are you looking for?
Mm-hmm.
So again, you've got to buy a good quality product.
Right.
And then for me, you buy the nice mic, you buy the Rodecaster, you look like you know what you're doing. And then you're like, oh, now I have this recording. What do I do?
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm going to YouTube, and well, that guy's doing that, so let me try that. Oh, that guy's doing that. Oh, I'll try that next time.
Yeah,
and
this is trying to processing. Like this is
the post
work that you're talking about.
Okay. Yeah, this guy sets his gate this way. This guy, sets his EQ this way. You're just experimenting, and kind of like there is no simple way to do it.
Yeah. I think that's the step that I usually take for granted, because I've been doing one version of that or another for a while, which was why it was exciting to me when you said you wanted to do that. So like, that's awesome, because that's a skill.
Yep.
Like you got to hone your ear to be able to hear the difference between, too much bass and, I mean, muddy and thin. And
correct.
What's the, okay, like that was too much on the sibilance. Like, okay, so which frequency do I need to look at for trying to tame that? And
that also has something to do with the mic that you're on.
Yeah, no, but like just talking about figuring that out. Like, and then it's amazing how whenever you've spent, hours trying to fix that in a recording, it changes the way that you record the next time.
Oh yeah.
Because now I'm turning my head a little bit differently to try to not make that same mistake again.
Yeah. And that's what's going to make the live intriguing.
Right.
Because if you don't have your levels right before you go live,
right,
you're just going to get what you get.
And you don't throw a fit.
No. And if it sounds like trash, it's just going to sound like trash. It just happens to be live.
Live trash.
Live trash. There you go. So,
trash that stains your, clothes.
Yes.
Anyway, sorry.
So so for me, it's really been a journey of learning.
Yeah.
Journey sounds kind of cheesy.
Sure,
but learning not just hardware. To me, the hardware part is easy.
Yeah.
That's
what whets your appetite.
Correct. It's setting the EQ, okay, I need a pop filter for this, or I need to know if I go off axis on this microphone, what is that going to do? So I've got to make sure I'm like up on the mic, don't get off on the side, all these little things that go into the recording that you're going to get.
What's the proximity effect? What does it do on this microphone? Yes. That type of thing.
This one should have a really good proximity effect.
Oh my goodness. Really good.
Well, and that's the thing. So like the mic that you're on, an RE320,
yeah,
they try to eliminate the proximity effect.
Yeah.
So you try to get that real voice as much as you can, no matter how close or how far away you are.
Right.
Other mics, people love the proximity effect. That's why so many people like the Heil PR40.
Yeah.
You get up on that thing, you're almost eating that mic. You get all that extra bass and boom in your voice, and you sound like you've got a radio voice.
Yeah. I mean, the SM7B is a lot of that.
Yep.
Which is kind of funny to me because, it was made popular by Michael Jackson using it in Thriller, anyway, because if there's one thing Michael Jackson is not, it's woofy.
No, he's definitely not. He's not. No, that is kind of crazy to think that the original version of this, just the SM7, was used on that album.
And really hasn't been changed that much. No,
just minor tweaks until the most recent one that kind of basically put the cloud lifter in the mic.
Mm-hmm.
The DB, I believe they call it.
Yeah. Pretty good idea. Anyway.
Yep.
But then after post, then you're talking about like, well, how do I get this out there, and what platform am I using for this? Do I have a web page? Am I hosting this somewhere else?
Yep.
Does it matter? Like, what is even the difference between all of these things?
Yep.
You mean I can't just like have it on my computer and then everybody can download it, Kris?
You could try to pull it off, but I wouldn't suggest it.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, so I mean, it really does come down to who is your hosting company.
Mm-hmm.
And we looked at a ton.
We did.
I had grandiose visions in the beginning.
Yeah, we tried actually, I think 2 or 3 different ways of doing this.
Yeah.
For this show.
Yep. I thought, we're gonna self-host. It's gonna be this is gonna be amazing. I'm gonna personally build out all of this RSS, XML behind the scenes for all this podcasting 2.0. This is gonna be amazing. Watch what I can do.
Right.
And then it just was like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, no, that's I'm not doing that.
So we settled with RSS.com.
Yeah.
They do some things that are 2.0.
Yeah.
They're slowly adding more.
Yeah.
But they're not going to add it if they're paying people aren't asking for it.
Right.
So, and there are some others that they're pure 2.0,
mm-hmm.
and that's great, but their pricing models don't necessarily fit as well.
No.
And so you try to find that.
Like, what are you willing to pay for?
Compromise.
And what are you remembering that it's a hobby?
Correct. And I love the idea that if we did ever explode, it's their problem to deal with all the bandwidth.
Yeah.
We don't have to keep up with that mess.
That's nice.
Like, that's y'all's problem. I'm going to keep paying you $20 a month.
Suckers.
Yes. Y'all are going to eat that.
Yeah.
So, but there's a lot that goes into that, to your point. And once you've kind of got it, okay, where's this artwork going to come from? Is it going to stay the same art every time?
Right.
That's fine. Most podcasts do that.
Yeah.
I like the idea of change it up.
Yeah.
Make it something different. It makes it obvious. Oh, that's not the same art from the previous.
Right.
That we're rotating art. So it is eventually going to loop back. And I'm feeling the itch to get some more.
Yep.
So it's been a while.
Where'd you get it?
I went to Fiverr. Yeah. I could try experimenting with some of the AI tools and try to put together something, but that's not my forte.
Sure.
I'm not a prompt jockey.
If we need to do a show on AI prompts, then maybe that'll
yes
be a reason to do it.
So, but I've been pleased with what we've got. I really want to.
I'm not a prompt jockey.
I'm not a prompt jockey. There are some people that are excellent at it, and the art that they can produce is off the charts. But I would love to actually hone in on a logo for the show,
mm-hmm.
and then that can reoccur in the art.
Yeah.
But I still want that etched on these mugs.
Yeah, we got to figure that out.
And I still want to figure out, once you've donated so much to the show, you get a mug.
Yeah.
Kind of gamify it a little bit, but
mm-hmm.
that also gets into, okay, now how do we get that reach?
Yeah, Jason, you've made it, man.
Yeah. As soon as we get into etch mugs, you're getting a mug. Yours will be hand delivered. So yeah, I think once you've kind of, okay, I figured out I've got my hosting company. It's going to get out there. They're going to put me in all these various services or whatever you want to call it, you know, Apple, Google, Amazon, Spotify, you know, all these other companies. And you know that you're kind of just giving them your product.
Yeah.
And they're going to advertise on it all they want and make money off of you. And you're not going to get anything in return.
Boo.
But that's kind of that entry of like, well, if that's what it takes to get some exposure, then that's what it takes.
Right. Which is, again, then we've moved into the like reach side of it. Which,
correct.
How do we get more exposure?
Yeah.
Making sure you're on different platforms.
Yeah. Different platforms and just kind of looking at shows. So I will pull back the curtain and give people some real numbers.
There you
go. We'll go back, 5 shows?
5 shows.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 5 shows ago was Dave, my mind is going, I can feel it. The AI show. I don't know who comes up with these titles, but some of them are good. 18 downloads since that show came out.
18.
Again, that's why I say we're doing this for fun. We're not doing this for money.
Right.
If we were doing it for money, we'd be crying.
Yeah, 18 downloads is hard to stomach if you're doing it for money.
Correct. It's just for fun. Then, actually, I guess that wasn't the AI show. I thought that was. Because the very next one is Beer and Gear AI Edition.
We did. Remember, this was we did the show on AI.
Yeah. Yes.
And then we did the show that was the AI, like
fed back into itself. That's right. So my mind is going was us talking AI.
Right.
AI Edition was me using a notebook and feeding it back into itself and showing how it hallucinates and falls apart.
Yeah.
Because
and can't say Redfern.
Can't say Redfern. And you didn't go to Oklahoma for college. I did.
Yeah, no, that's exciting.
Yes. So, I didn't mean to click that. Go back. So, AI Edition got a whole whopping 11 downloads.
Maybe it's because our voices sound so much alike. Our radio voices are very similar. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So, after that, it's Altered Reality with Beer Donations. That was a good show. 8 downloads.
It was a good show.
It was a good show.
I wanted, let's talk about this for a second. You don't like it. It was a good show if it was a good show. It's not a good show based on downloads.
Correct.
Can't do that to yourself.
No. Now, I will admit that probably the show that we could have skipped or maybe try to find a way to make it be a little better was the Wi-Fi show.
Yeah.
Because all we were doing was literally reading specs.
I was so tired.
But that got 38 downloads.
Which is hilarious because that's not a good show.
No, it was not. It was okay.
That's fine. It's just not there's nothing really original about what we were doing.
Okay. So then the next show, still haven't got a cease and desist. It'll come someday, I'm sure.
Sure.
It was our 30th episode. So I thought I was being creative. 30 for 30.
I mean, you are being creative.
Mobile device management.
Yes.
30 downloads.
Okay.
No idea why it changed.
Yeah.
I'm essentially using the same base tags, if you will.
Right. But
with some modifications. Yeah, with some modifications based off of what we may be talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go to the most recent show, non-alcoholic, because we didn't have any beer.
That's right. We were both drinking the
Dr. Pepper and Coke.
Dr. Pepper and Coke.
Analog versus digital. 6 downloads. And it's like, again, I used all the base tags that we would normally do.
Knows.
Exactly. So no idea what's going on. Because all you ever see are downloads.
Right.
You have no idea what's going on.
Nope.
If you do get somebody who happens to be 2.0 capable,
mm-hmm.
maybe they'll send you a boost and say, hey, your show sucks. You should stop doing this. Or they'll send it and go, actually, that was a pretty good show. Have you considered this? So you finding ways to get feedback would be huge to helping us try to figure out how do we get more reach? How do we get out there? What are people more interested in?
Right.
Maybe we're talking about topics most of the time that people really don't care about. And so it's there, but there is no rhyme or reason to the shows that seem to hit. And so there is some SEO like magic that we haven't discovered yet. And
I'm sure people could tell us that.
Well, sure. RSS.com, if you want to pay the money and sit down and talk with them, they'll talk about how they would help you increase the reach of your show.
Do this differently.
So, but that's real numbers.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not afraid to put them out there.
No.
I'm not trying to outdo Joe Rogan.
Oh gosh, no.
I have fun doing the show. And as long as I'm having fun and you're having fun and we like the beer,
I mean, I like this beer.
we'll just keep coming back.
If we were doing the donations every time, we might have a problem.
Yes. That, or if every episode was the old Rasputin.
Oh my gosh.
That ended the show quickly.
So we do this. We do a beer for you and then a beer for us.
Yes. So, and there have been some episodes where we were bringing something new that I brought a backup beer because you're trying something new. You don't know what you're going to get. Old Rasputin is a classic example for us.
And I don't want to have a bad night. Like,
no.
That's not why we're here.
So far, I've been a trooper and I've powered through every one that I've opened.
I have not.
That's okay. That's okay. So, but you know, so that's kind of a piece that now I'm trying to figure out. It's like, okay, I'm still working on audio. We've got good hardware that covers a multitude of sins.
It really does.
But now, what's going on with reach? Because let me find it. When I go to distribution, we're on Spotify, Amazon Music, Podcast Index, Go 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
Listen Notes. I've never heard of that one. But
Say that again.
Listen Notes. I don't know anything about it, but it's one that they offer. And of course, we're in the RSS community. Apple Podcasts, Pandora, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and Deezer, of all things.
Yeah.
And we do convert the show over for YouTube.
Yeah. YouTube audio.
Yep. So on YouTube, you're basically seeing the chapter art with the audio. So it's not impressive on YouTube.
No.
By any means. But we're getting something out there. So we're doing everything we can to cast the net as far as we can go.
Right. Without spending way more money.
Correct. And I'm sure if we went to somebody and paid them a bunch of money, they'd be like, well, hey, we're going to do this and that, and we're going to get you sponsors and whatever. And then the show starts changing because now we've got money dictating what we can and can't say about things and what we can talk about.
Gross.
And I don't want to get into that.
No.
So now it really is, okay, what are the keywords that seem to hit? Let's keep bringing those back as long as they make sense. I don't want to throw out a keyword just for the sake of downloads.
No.
So it'll just be kind of continuing to see what I can learn from this and what you can learn from this and things that we can do to improve the reach.
I mean, it is a slow process for stuff like that. And I feel like part of what makes it so slow is how beside the point it feels from where it was started.
Yeah.
So it has to be like, there has to be a desire to learn about that in order to really spend time on it.
Yeah.
Because we're busy guys.
Yep.
Both have full-time jobs.
Yep.
And kiddos.
Wife and kids. Yep.
Yeah. Which is another full-time job.
Correct.
Or two.
Or 3.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of continuing to figure this out.
Yeah.
So if anybody out there, if you're listening, you have ideas, throw them our way.
Love to hear from you.
We'd love a boost.
Yeah.
Can't beat it if you can do it. Otherwise, beerandgearpodcast@gmail.com.
There you go.
Always looking for something to come in there.
Absolutely.
So send it our way.
Other than the spam.
Well, we're not good enough yet to have spam. It's kind of where I'm at.
That's true. It's just the normal spam.
There's not a whole lot coming in.
Kind of the...
Well, I mean, when I look at we were joking about this, but we're getting stuff from Blueberry, that's a hosting provider.
Yeah.
We get stuff from Albi, which is for our boosts.
Mm-hmm.
We get stuff occasionally from RSS.com. What else is out there?
And Gmail.
Some YouTube.
Google is is this still active?
Yeah. And we've still got some stuff where you set up Instagram for us and you set up X.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah. So there's not a whole lot going on there. But again, yeah, if you're listening and you've got ideas, send them our way.
Absolutely.
I'm open to any feedback that anybody can offer. I'm not afraid of constructive criticism.
Not at all.
Send it on over.
I'm not afraid of unconstructive criticism at this point. I mean, what can they do?
True.
So what'd Jason say?
Oh, you want to hit the boost?
Yeah.
Well, before we do that, I do want to say that we did pass one milestone.
Yes, we did.
Since the last show, we broke 1,000 total downloads.
Boom.
Big deal for me.
Sure.
I mean, that's a lot of downloads. No, it took a year.
For us,
it took a year and a half, but that's okay.
It's fine.
That's what.
We're a little podcast.
Correct. And I realize that with RSS.com, you've got to do that every month.
Yeah.
To get into their monetization.
Listen,
systems.
I've been downloading it 5 times a week.
Well, apparently what I need to do is, here's what I need to do. I need to take advantage of some of these download farms over in India.
Yeah, that's right.
And artificially crank up our numbers.
Yeah, it's like, listen,
what does that cost based off what RSS will pay me?
Let's find one in Australia. Just because they were the last.
The Aussies. Yeah, they were the last to show up.
Jerks.
Although they might want more money.
Never mind. Let's go to the lowest bidder.
There you go. Okay, so yeah, we do have a boost for the show. For those that don't know, Boost is a part of Podcasting 2.0. Mm-hmm. It enables you to send Satoshis, which is fractions of a Bitcoin, to us. And with that, you're helping push the show, promote the show.
Right.
And you get to throw a little message in, and your message gets read on the show.
And we get a, fraction of a cent toward a beer.
Yeah, fractions upon fractions of a cent. We have a whole whopping $6.26 out there.
Dadgum right.
Yeah. So Jason sent us
my kid's college fund.
There you go. As long as we get deflation. So Jason sent us 111 sats with a message that says mini row of sticks.
Yeah.
Think about that all at once.
Yeah.
Goodbye the days of copper snakes. Bring on the STP with EtherCon.
Dadgum right.
Heck yeah, man.
I mean, Jason, I know you knew exactly what I was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
It's just that moment that you see the coil of Cat 5 and you're like, wait, what?
Uh-huh.
I remember thinking like, that's not possible. There's no way.
Yep.
There's no way that, oh my gosh, it does.
If I remember correctly, that's AES 50.
Yeah, AES 50.
Okay.
Was the one that we used for anything Behringer or Wing. So it's the AES 50 is Clark Technics.
Yes.
Not everybody uses the same. That's a different show. Not talking about that right now.
We need to do a snake show.
We need to do a an audio show, an AV show or whatever that talks about the same type of thing that we talked about with computers, when we did PC and Mac, and how when you have different when you have companies that are competing with each other, the idea that they have to have the same standards or the same, I don't know, protocols. I mean, any like insert what you want to when it comes to how they interact with each other.
Mm-hmm.
There's something to be gained by making it available for everybody.
Oh yeah, everybody talking the same language.
And there's something to be gained from making it exclusive. And the weighing of that happens in every industry, I'm sure. But the fact that some of this is not settled in the AV world, I'd love to hear Jason's thoughts on this. So Jason, if you're listening, anyway, maybe that's a future show.
Yeah. This does say that it's primarily used by Behringer and Midas,
which is the same company.
Correct.
Now,
yes, and Clark Technic is a part of them. The
So they actually
umbrella. I believe so.
Music Tribe bought Clark Technic.
Yeah, I believe so. Let me confirm that. So I'm not doing any. What's the term? Fake news.
Slander.
He totally was wrong. They're not owned by those people.
Anyway, it is but it's one of those things that they, like I talked about, then you have to, it makes sense for people to have everything in-house, and it makes sense for people to have things that talk to other companies or other products made by other companies. And as the end user, sometimes it's awesome when everything is made by the same company, and sometimes it's kind of a pain in the rear.
Yep. So Music Tribe, formerly Music Group, does have Behringer, Midas, Turbo Sound, TC Electric, Clark Technic, TC Helicon. I don't know that one.
Yeah, TC Helicon. Sorry,
So-
we'll talk about that.
But they're all under the same umbrella.
I don't think I realized that they had TC Helicon or TC Electric. That's interesting.
They've got them both. Turbo Sound, Tannoy, and Lab Gruppen, and
I don't know.
Aston microphones.
Really?
Yeah, I know you like your Aston.
I do like my Aston. Let's say that a little slower.
Well, what's going in my head, and I don't remember if it was a commercial or what it was, complimenting about a guy about his ascot, and he says, "You bet your ass I do." So
that's funny. No, I don't. I definitely did not know that.
yeah, they have Aston microphones. I wouldn't wear that either.
I mean, I could say all kinds of things about this. We'll talk later.
Yes. Save it for the next show.
Hey, man, thanks for hanging out.
I enjoyed it, man. It's
Yeah.
good beer as always.
Always. Dadgum.
Can definitely recommend Sanctimonium.
We definitely need to look at True Vine as a location for a live show.
That would be a good one. There in East Texas Brewery. It would probably
sure.
be hard to pull one off at BJ's restaurant.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like East Texas Brewery, if we did it outside, we wouldn't have the problem. But
Yeah.
like East Texas Brewery and BJ's would have the same. This is really loud.
Yeah. Well, at East Texas Brewery, they do have that. If when you go down the stairs and they have that separate room with
Right.
a whole nother bar.
Yeah,
If it's not too crazy there
Yeah.
and they don't have live music, you could totally pull it off.
absolutely.
So True Vine, they've got a lot of potential spots or options.
Yeah, it's kind of out of the way.
Yep.
Anyway, thanks for joining us
Enjoyed it, man. See you, everybody.
every time. See you.
Good morning, this is Weekend Edition from NPR. I'm Scott Simon, and I'd like to begin today's show with a moment of quiet reflection. Not for any particular reason, I just enjoy the sound of my own breathing. It reassures me that for now, I am still here. Our top story today, scientists have issued yet another dire warning about climate change. The oceans are rising, the forests are burning, and quite frankly, I can't help but wonder, why am I still paying rent? I should just lie down in the middle of a Whole Foods parking lot and let nature take me. But first, an update on my personal life. Last night, I stood in my kitchen at 3 a.m., eating cold pasta with my bare hands, when I remembered something from childhood. My uncle once told me that I had, quote, the kind of face that doesn't inspire trust, end quote. I was 6. He said it like an observation, like he was telling me I had brown hair. I haven't stopped thinking about it for 40 years. Anyway, let's talk about the economy. This week, We examine the financial struggles of young Americans who claim they will never be able to afford a home. But have they considered simply inheriting one? We'll speak to an anti-Trump Harvard economist who has never put a pistol to their head because they couldn't pay the electric bill, and who once described his darkest moment as, quote, "the time my dad made me drive the Porsche with the cloth seats," end quote. Speaking of regret, I'd like to issue a formal apology to the woman I dated in 1997 who told me she was going to move to New York and become an actress. I laughed. I said, "You, Broadway?" She's now a 4-time Tony winner. I, meanwhile, am sitting here, slowly realizing that every major event of my life has been leading me to an inevitable and humiliating death. But that's not today's story. No, today we look at a new study suggesting that houseplants can hear us when we talk. That's right. Every time I've whispered, "I wish I had never been born," into the leaves of my ficus, it was listening, judging. And now a special segment, a deep dive into artisanal butter. Which brand is the most expensive? Does it even taste better? Does any of it matter when we all die alone? We'll discuss that, plus the top 5 ways to prepare duck liver after this short break. This is Weekend Edition from NPR. I am Scott Simon, and the walls of my apartment are definitely getting closer together.
Support for NPR comes from the Holloway Institute for Behavioral Correction, providing cutting-edge re-education services to citizens who have accidentally expressed the wrong opinions. Holloway Institute. You won't even remember what you used to think. And from the Fairchild Foundation, working tirelessly to ensure that wealth remains in the hands of those who truly deserve it.